Before flour, before dough, there is grain. Once ground, the journey changes.
Water. Flour becomes something more.
Every step leads here. Every loaf begins in the field, long before the bakery. Once the wheat matures, it's carefully assessed before harvest. Then, harvesting begins, slowly and deliberately.
After harvesting, the wheat is gathered and secured.
Next, large-scale harvesting brings efficiency to the process.
Then, the grain is collected for transport.
Although brief, storage protects the harvest.
Finally, the wheat leaves the field.
After harvest, the grain arrives to be cleaned and prepared.
Next, unwanted material is carefully removed. Finally, the cleaned grain is stored until milling begins. Before storage, airflow helps stabilize the grain. Although machines do most of the work, human eyes still matter. Then, the grain is stored until milling begins. Once prepared, the grain is ready for milling. Once milling begins, the grain is released in a controlled flow. Then, steel rollers gradually break the grain apart. Finally, fine flour is separated for baking. Rather than a single grind, the grain is reduced step by step. During milling, bran is separated from the finer flour. Next, the finished flour is collected. Once milled, the flour is ready for the next stage.
After milling, the flour is stored under controlled conditions.
Before use, the flour is carefully tested.
Texture confirms the flour is ready. Once the flour is ready, the ingredients are prepared. Then, the ingredients are brought together. Next, mixing transforms the ingredients into dough.
After that, hydration spreads evenly through the dough.
Then, mixing develops strength within the dough. Once mixed, the dough is uniform and elastic. Finally, the dough is ready to ferment. Once mixing ends, fermentation begins. Then, time and warmth allow the dough to develop. Although the change is subtle, fermentation is underway.
After enough time, fermentation is complete.
Then, the dough is prepared for shaping.
Finally, fermentation gives way to shaping.
Once fermentation ends, the dough is divided.
Then, each portion is shaped into a loaf.
Next, the loaves are prepared for scoring.
After shaping, the loaves are carefully scored. Next, the loaves are positioned for baking. Then, the loaves move toward the ovens. Finally, everything is set for baking. Next, the loaves enter the oven. Although unseen from outside, baking transforms the dough. Finally, baking completes the transformation. After baking, the bread must cool naturally. Cooling allows the structure to set. Once cooled, the bread is ready for slicing. Once fully cooled, the bread moves to slicing. Then, precise slicing creates uniform pieces. Finally, sliced bread is prepared for packaging. Once sliced, the bread moves toward packaging. Then, packaging protects the finished bread. Finally, the bread is ready to leave the bakery. After packaging, the bread begins its journey outward. Then, it arrives where people find it every day.
Finally, the journey ends where it began, with people.
After distribution, the bread enters local retail systems. Next, it moves from storage to the shelf.
Finally, it's ready for everyday choice.
Although the process is unseen, its result is familiar.
After a long journey, it arrives simply.
Behind each loaf, there is a journey.
Once it reaches home, the journey becomes personal. After that, it becomes part of a ritual.
Behind each bite is a journey.